There's a great story if you want to understand
Hello,
the
hello.
narrative of a guy who was
There's no way you can
It's
throw away 900
content
before you
practicing
engage with this
time.
homosexuality in a ghetto long time ago when it was not very
How much you know about this guy's
accepted.
anti-Semitic too?
He taught me a lot, but he also gave me a unique perspective. So definitely recommend checking that out. You can get the Black Box on Amazon. Way more important than that, I want you guys to, if you're a religious person, pray for one of the saints. He's actually in hospital right now. If you're not a religious person, send some positive wishes. He produces this right here. And the reason I want to mention this is because Daniel John, who's a good man, a very strong man. I know I've had him in my house. I've shook his hand. He's in the hospital right now, and he produces this product, which we sell for him at thesassin.com. And he sold some of these to you guys. You guys have supported him, but he can't mail them out right now because he's in the hospital. And so I trust that he's going to make a full recovery because he's a strong man.
Okay, we're going to get this 900.
And I would love if when he gets out, we can send him a big check for all of these necklaces.
Coming for the 900. We're coming.
But just be aware that if you buy his necklace, he won't be able to mail it to you because he's in the hospital currently. But he will be out, God willing, soon. And so
and support him.
Yeah, what's that?
Support Daniel.
Yeah, support Daniel. Absolutely. We want to send him a big check. So do support him, but know that your product will come after he gets out of the hospital and is able to mail it to you.
Okay, we have Jordan on PayPal said, where are Destiny's debate skills? This psycho turned into Stevie Wonder mid-interview out of frustration. Probably going to enter a psych ward after this.
Well, that's the thing about these people is that they all have mental issues. Like, so for example, one of the things they never want to talk about, like consider the trans people.
Wait, did this guy just scam live? Wait, is this guy telling you to buy jewelry for a dude in the hospital? Wait, what the fuck is this guy saying this? Wait, did that just happen?
They want, which is the operation to remove one of their body parts. It turns out that all the data indicates that they have a higher suicide rate post-op, which is to say after they actually chop off their genitals, which is what they say they wanted, they then end up still killing themselves. The reason that they do that is because aside from your genitals, there's so many other genetic markers that make you a male biologically. You're still not going to feel like a woman, but more importantly, cutting off a body part is not going to fix your true problem, which is in here.
He sent two $50 super chats.
Baller alert.
I can't find them, but I can read them from here. He said, why do all Destiny fans look like guys who get bullied on Disney Channel? And then he said, Marquette, we don't want to be a businessman in technology who flies around the world in exotic cars with multiple women falling behind them. Right. We want to be a Twitch streamer playing games with our girlfriend being ran through, a part of the LGBTQ.
And you know, the funny thing about Destiny too, that we all know is that just looking at him and just in case you guys haven't seen him, let's see, just looking at him, we have to know that this is one of those situations where, like if you didn't have money, you would be really down bad. This is Destiny right here, right? And I think this particular comment is funny and very instructive. It says, they say money can't buy happiness. Like clearly this guy is paying. Clearly. And oh, look at the genetics on that net. Oh, that is unfortunate right there.
Okay, we have Sir Lloyd.
He's showing a joke pic that I took with Molina on Instagram.
Shout out to Dan.
He said they're blocking me from super chatting, Saint. At 7:53, I think he's talking a different video you have. Destiny defends something unspeakable. If you need context, play from 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Look up Brittany Venti Destiny Takedown.
I need the link on that one. I'm not sure which video you're referring to.
Dan, if you want to email
Dude, where's my 900s?
To support@marquettism.com.
Yeah, I don't know which one that is.
Okay, hold on, it's coming.
And here's another piece of evidence. This one is on Reddit. It says the guy on the left is Ice Poseidon, who was recently exposed by Coffee Break for scamming his fans for over $500,000 in a crypto scheme. So this is one, I think it's strange that he's sitting in this dude's lap, but I guess like, hey, if you guzzle Skittles, like that's what you do.
Guzzle Skittles.
Apparently, these guys team up on their scams. They team up on the scams.
I've never called for spam reports, but it's a little bit bullshit. No offense to the black guys out there. It's a little bullshit that you guys can still get away. You're living like 20 years behind us in terms of like rule enforcement online. It's pretty wild. You guys can just be openly homophobic and not get like any heat for it whatsoever. That's some bullshit, just as an aside there, but cool story, I guess.
Simple one. And it's because they're engaging in unnatural acts. Like, for example, can you take that super chat real quick?
Yeah.
Like, for example, they're not using protection, which, yeah, hey, it's fine, do what you do. But being that you're engaging in unnatural acts and like the penis is not meant to go in the rear end, it doesn't naturally lubricate. Being that it doesn't naturally lubricate, you're getting tearing.
Women don't lubricate with this guy either.
On the penis and the anus. And it's the bleeding, right? And that's why it increases the transmission of HIV/AIDS, which is really unfortunate. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it's one of the obvious reasons. And also, they don't take any breaks, right? There's no menstrual cycle where they're like, hey, we got to take a week off. Nah, they're going 24/7. They're going in. And I'm guessing like it's not hard. You know, they got an app called Grindr. They just meet up in the bathroom and just start pounding away, Brokeback Mountain style, no lube, nothing. Here's another.
This guy talks about gay sex more than any gay guy I've ever heard.
You get to see his nature right here.
While you pull it up, Nick sent a super chat and said, having personally attended the conference when the topic of NFTs was explained, Marquette is everything he says he is and more. Because of that conference, I just completed my first tech certification. Can't thank you enough.
I appreciate that, Nick. Shout out. Appreciate that. And this is just pure silliness. Like,
hold on, I gotta focus. 1 second, Jesus. No, fuck. Hold on. Dude, if I don't get a 900, I'm losing it.
You understand how dangerous you're going down? Is you're going to start to assume the experiences of other minority.
What is this guy doing? Bro, dude, I can't do it. I'm shook.
Said, peace to the saints. Did you hear about Destiny's scam selling?
Yo.
Hi, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Destiny? Yo, what is happening right now, bro? We've been watching this thing.
Oh, shit.
It is a dumpster fire, bro.
Okay, this guy wanted to bring me on to light me up on some shit. And he's like, he has like a certain interview style, and I didn't want to play with it. And now he's like really mad. He muted me in the back room, and now he's just going over all of his, I guess he's got clips of me, and that's it.
Yeah, no, yeah, we been peep. We been peep. Yeah. I was just wondering, you know, me and my chat was telling me to get on there, but I don't know where this goes from here, honestly, because he won't allow you to speak. And I was interested in this debate. I was interested in this conversation happening, but he won't allow you to speak. And yeah. Maybe we should just have a conversation then.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, yeah. I mean, there's probably interesting stuff to chat about, but he's one of those types. He's like a Jesse Lee Peterson in the making, basically. But
yeah. Well, nah, man. I mean, I don't even really have a topic prepared. We're just so invested in this whole situation now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've been playing Minecraft for like the last 2.5 hours. We've been streaming for like 6 hours.
Damn, nice. Well, how's life going?
I know you wanted to talk about God at some point in the past, but I decided that, you know, I wanted to really get solid with my apologetics before we have that conversation, just purely out of, you know, respect for your debating skills.
Damn, I don't know like a bunch of like hardcore theology background stuff for debating like religious stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could just have a conversation. It doesn't have to devolve into a debate, or it doesn't have to be a debate, not today, but we could just have a conversation. You know what? How about we have the conversation that I guess he was supposed to have with you in regard to what were the topics that he wanted to speak about?
It was about me being racist and then something about homophobia.
Right, you being racist. Now, I can't speak to why he would have accused you of being racist. I don't know what clips he would be directing that towards. Before this stream, we were reacting to the stream you had with Jitty on, where you guys were talking about voting, and they went to voting, and you actually like moved my, like I came on there saying I don't think voting matters, really. Like I was like in that camp, and you moved me a little bit, maybe more than a little bit, not all the way, but you moved me towards the direction of, okay, I can see why we can entertain, you know, the idea of voting as like an effective means of, you know, change in society. However, I still felt like you get far more out of, like, if we're talking about the Black community specifically, we get far more out of, as a community, coming together, pooling resources and building each other up than we ever would get from, you know, voting for someone who we hope will represent those things and try to put policies in place. And we also know that just even if we elect somebody who completely
real clear
aligns with
I don't
things that
tell anybody to report anybody. I don't
the
support
Black
any of that.
community wants, they won't necessarily be able to enact any of that stuff, depending on, you know, how.
Yeah, there's always like, I agree. There's like a multi-pronged way of doing things, right? Like you can pressure
Even
people
if
with your wallet, you can pressure people with your vote, you can pressure people on social media and on YouTube channels. Like, yeah, everybody kind of has their part to play, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I'm not even sure what angle he was gonna take with the whole homosexuality stuff, you know. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to burn that bridge.
What? You don't know if you want to burn that bridge?
Yeah, with you. Damn. How do you feel about gay people?
Bro, I think it's all just sin. Personally, I believe that it's all just sin at the end of the day. I don't feel any particular way about gay people. I believe that as human beings that are descendants of Adam and Eve, who have fallen, are part of a fallen creation, we all have a desire to sin. We all have a fleshly nature that rejects God and yearns to please the self and the flesh, and that manifests in a variety of ways. For some people, that manifests as the desire to, you know, have relationships that contradict the wisdom of God. Ultimately, it's all about God's wisdom and our desire to defy him. And that will, so what any model that God has presented us with as his way, as wisdom, there are going to be those that are attracted to going the other way. And so God created man and woman. He created the institution of marriage. And so there are going to be those who want to just go in the opposite direction of that. So that's how I feel about it. But I don't think there is anything particularly, you know, different about people who are attracted to that sin. It's just they have a different sin that appeals to them. Does that make sense?
Sure. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with if it comes from a place of your like spirituality or religion. There's not much for me to say. So, all right, just curious.
Right. I mean, are you open to the possibility? No. Okay, so here's a question that I think I would be able to manage navigating. Do you believe that God exists?
No.
Okay, why don't you believe that God exists?
Because I don't believe I've been given compelling evidence for him.
Okay, so I think the best argument for existence is an intelligent creator. The reason I think that is because everyone, including the greatest scientific minds alike, as well as, you know, just my own ability to observe the world and think critically, have come to the conclusion that this existence, this realm, this world, this universe, whatever word you want to use, has a point of origin. And everything that has a point of origin has a cause. Anything that begins to exist has a cause that brought it into existence. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but then I'd ask, well, who created God?
So, okay, that's a great question. So I think that the creator always has to be separate from the creation. Hold on, give me a moment. Let me change my screen. Right now, I still have this Saint and Sinner guy up on the screen just from
no problem.
the stream. So let me get you up on the stream.
There you go.
Yeah,
I think it's very that he asks a clarifying
You're
question.
still live on YouTube, right?
Yep.
His point.
All right, hold on.
I guarantee
There was no.
goddamn to you
No, see,
that
no,
if he
now you sound
You're
ridiculous.
still live on
'cause you
YouTube,
said
right? Okay, boom. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so as I was saying, okay, so the creator has to always be separated from the creation, right? Like a painter has to be unbound by the canvas. He needs to be able to manipulate it. A painter can throw away the canvas and not be affected by it in any meaningful way. So all we have to do is look at the things that govern our creation, right? Our world. And one of those things is time. So whatever it is that created the world also created time. We also agree that if the world or the universe came into existence at a certain point, that was also the origination of time, because time wouldn't have existed prior to the creation or the world.
Well, couldn't I just say that, like, that the universe is eternal, like you say God is eternal? Like, how can we prove either one?
How can we prove that the universe is because time is real?
Well, but that doesn't, just because time is real doesn't mean it's not infinite. Like, numbers are real, but they're also infinite, right?
Yeah, but we agree that time is linear.
Well,
Do we?
yeah, but linear just means it goes from back to forward, but that doesn't mean it's not infinite in both directions, right? Like, you're treating it as a ray, right? Like a ray has a point of origin and it goes infinitely off in one direction. And I'm saying that it could just be a line that moves linearly from left to right, but we start at a point and we keep moving, but it could go infinitely back and forth, right?
Sure. However, okay, so let's work backwards then. Do you agree that there was a point in time that this world came into existence?
When you say this
When I
world,
say
do you mean
this
the
world-
universe, or do you mean?
I don't like the term universe personally. I don't use that term. But okay, for argument's sake, let's use the term universe. Yes. Can we agree that there was a moment in which this universe came into existence?
I don't
prior
know that.
to which it did not exist.
I know that they say that about 13 or so billion years ago.
Oh, there you are. Hold on, my bad.
sorry.
I didn't realize you shared your video with me.
Oh, no,
I
you're
can
good.
really lag.
Yeah, I think about 13 billion years ago the Big Bang happened, but I don't know if it was before the Big Bang. Maybe it was another universe, or maybe it was, I have no idea.
Okay, but we can agree that the evidence suggests the best argument that we have today is that there was a point in time where there was nothing prior to it, right?
No, I don't think any scientist would make a claim that, like, they know what was there before the Big Bang, right?
Okay, so your argument is that the universe simply just existed forever.
Or it could have. I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows what was before. We don't even really know 100% of the Big Bang happened. That's just a guess based on a lot of cosmological and physics. But I mean, I don't know if anybody knows what came before the Big Bang.
Yeah, no. The best argument that I've heard on behalf of the scientific community is that the universe came into existence at the Big Bang. That's what they say the best evidence suggests.
Well, that we know that our
Bang
universe
has-
right now probably came from a Big Bang. We know that, but we don't know
Right,
what
that's
happened
what- that's
before
the
the Big
best-
Bang or what caused the Big Bang. That we have no idea. There could have been a whole other universe before that or not, right?
Sure, that's all speculation, but I'm just trying to stick to what the evidence suggests. Like when I take a look, when I observe the world,
Mhm.
when I observe the world through my own experience, time is linear, time exists,
Mhm.
and we know that entropy is real. Things are constantly moving towards a state of decay and chaos, which means it's moving from a state of perfect order or at least a lack of decay.
Mhm.
Is that logical?
Generally, we agree that time is increasing on a maximal scale, or that entropy is increasing on a maximal scale. Although on a local scale, I think in QM, I think entropy can actually decrease. There's like a weird QM argument about that, but I think generally entropy is increasing in the universe. Yes.
I mean, you just said that sometimes entropy decreases. Do you mean the rate of entropy? And for those who might not know what entropy is, could you give a definition of that?
So it generally requires energy to keep things in an orderly state. And as those bonds start to break, things become disorderly, and that would be an increase in entropy. So if I were to put like a bunch of balls on top of a pillar and I were to push the balls off, like the balls represent high potential energy, they drop, they have kinetic energy, things are becoming more chaotic, and eventually everything settles into a state to where nothing is happening anymore because all of the bonds that could be broken are broken. All of the things that could decay have decayed, and things are just kind of like at maximum chaos. There's no order to any of the matter that exists anymore. It's like that's like a sloppy explanation. But on a quantum level, locally, sometimes entropy can decrease for strange reasons, and given an infinite amount of time. I don't know if there's weird shit. I don't know if that's relevant to this conversation. But yeah, generally entropy increases. Things break down, things become more disorderly, and things tend towards maximum chaos, essentially.
Right. In my ability to observe what is around me, things seem to always decay. Things don't just, without any intervention from an external source, start to, become more orderly or repair itself. Things just always get worse. And we see that is consistent with the nature of the universe, right? Scientists say that the universe is constantly getting colder, right? We're moving towards some kind of thermal death, or I'm not quite familiar with the term. I'm sure you probably have heard of what I'm talking about. A point when like the last star will fade from existence and then it will just be cold and nothingness, right?
Sure.
There's a limited amount of energy in the universe that exists. It can't be created or destroyed, and things just constantly decay. All of this suggests that it is all moving from a point of origination.
Yeah, the Big Bang, yeah.
Okay, so that's why I say just basically looking at the world around us, it would suggest that there was a point of origination. That's why Stephen Hawking, all of the greatest scientists, they believe that the best argument for the beginning of the universe, beginning of the world, is the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And so time, we know, is a component of our world. It's not just a,
Time is really complicated. I don't know what do you mean by when you say a component. What do you mean by that?
It's an actual component interwoven into the structure of our universe. We know, like, the time space continuum, the fact that time literally changes, or
like could theoretically, couldn't the Big Bang have been created within?
Cannot fathom three-dimensional space. It has no concept of L streamer. I'm on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Figure out how to do it, and I'll raid you before I end the stream, okay?
Oh boy. All right. Okay. All right.
Look it up. Good luck. I'll probably end in like 5 or 10 minutes. All right. See you later.
Okay. All right, guys. All right.
Normal shape. They all look like they just got off a Pornhub, especially this guy. Like, good Lord, this guy be on Pornhub. Serious. He done damn near broke a finger. You heard me? Like, he going yay on Pornhub. Then you got this guy got no facial hair. Like, he ain't even went through puberty. This dude is going through reverse puberty right here. Like, look at this guy's hair right here. This is a disaster.
Oh, yo, what's up? Hey, yo, look,
Me, like, goodness. It's like, this is what we're dealing with out here? Like, this guy. Like, honestly, bro, when's the last time you got laid? When's the last time you got laid?
Oh, sorry, mate. Oh, sorry. I was looking at another tab.
I was just when did nerds become dumb? I thought a condition of being a nerd is that you're smart. God damn.
Alex, in a cash app, he said your post notifications are not showing on YouTube.
I'm not surprised.
Hey, I have a quick question. I'm a full.
What? I'm going crazy. All right, you're right. I'm trolling too hard. I'm having too much fun. I'm sorry. I apologize to the sensitive people out there. It's funny too when you've come to an era where the white man is in such decline that you go from being the slave master in the land, and now you're like calling yourself the victim. Like, that's insane.
Why is he allowed to be racist and homophobic? That's such bullshit. And then he plays this fucking racist victim card on me? What a fucking loser.
But sue this B for defamation. Damn, I didn't defame somebody. I could have sworn I played his clips. It's crazy. He got hella money though, according.
Oh,
to
he was
him.
transphobic too. Wow, listen, transphobia, that's way down.
I'm about to buy one as soon as I figure out what an NFT is.
It's way down the road for these guys, for people like this.
Asking in the chat, like,
I don't know. Once I figure it out, I'm buying hella NFTs from Destiny.
Push back on his IT knowledge, but
Depending
he's a
on which video
scammer.
I
Like
watch.
unironically,
I watched
like
the
he's
one
an.
first
I'm not
where
like
he
just saying
says,
that. I think he's
don't buy
actually a
him.
scammer. I don't think he knows anything about what he talks about. He's one of those people that sells like self-help courses and then like sells jewelry or some shit, I guess. Whatever he was scamming for earlier, but he doesn't actually know anything. He's a charlatan, right? Because if you knew the answer, you wouldn't be saying weird shit like I did a tech conference. Like, what does that even mean?
What's that video where I'm in Colombia doing pull-ups while giving a lecture? You remember what it was called? I think it's called How to Be a Hard Man or something
yeah, I
like
think
that.
that's right.
Yeah, I have a video called How to Be a Hard Man. Check it out. I'm doing pull-ups while giving a lecture. I think you might enjoy it.
On Cash App, Jalen said he's never got laid. None of them.
I can tell.
my-store-b88525.creator-spring.com.
I wanna put on my boat.
Holy shit.
Damn, they're having fun out here. I think this one's my favorite one.
This looks like some fucking Chinese knockoff. What? It actually probably
He
is.
kind of look like my Auntie Leslie, a fat Italian woman. Have you ever seen Auntie Leslie?
No.
Okay, he kind of looks like Aunt Leslie. It's great. Look at this guy. He ain't never looked.
You look like Charles.
This is getting fun. It's like musical chairs on it. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Are you overweight? Yes or no?
I think so.
Fair enough.
What's up, Marquette?
Marquette is the name.
Oh wait, is this guy like the leader of like a fucking cult?
Yo.
Is he wearing a flesh-colored T-shirt? Are you wearing a flesh T-shirt?
Saint is my primary identity, superseding all other identities, race, ethnicity, nationality.
This is good. What country are you in?
I'm in the U.S.
You're in the United States?
End night with free association
How old are you?
journaling. Oh, this guy's actually like a cult leader, like an unironic cult leader.
Very good. What's your life about, man?
Sorry, say it again?
What's your life about? What's going on with your life?
I'm at school, I work like 20 hours a week, almost full time, but I gotta do school.
Can you enunciate a bit better?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, I go to school. I don't want to say where I go to school.
He makes 14K a month on Patreon. Yeah, I saw that. His lowest tier is 22 a month.
I've read a few papers that reference the gauging that we're talking about. So at the school that I go to,
I wonder if these are real or if he's like
it's a lab
scammed it somehow.
Off campus, but it's really close. Is where the first human genome was sequenced. So
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
What is an NFT?
Don't answer.
I'm not totally sure. Well,
Me either. Fuck it. Go ahead. Hey, but real quick. Are you bisexual or homosexual?
No, I have a girlfriend.
You're neither bisexual nor homosexual.
No, I have a girlfriend.
Why do you care about this?
One particular.
Anything related to LGBTQ. I'm assuming you're about to articulate a story about you being an ally.
Like yes.
I mean, just yes or no, my boy. Like, goddamn, like don't pretend you're an ally and you're about to articulate a story. But the question is like, why? Why do you care?
So, I mostly I care just because it's relevant to what I do. So it's not really like the focus of what I do, but usually like I look at evolutionary
biology. You're taking a
biology.
bachelor's degree, correct?
I'm studying. Yeah.
You're studying for a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I'm preparing for my master's. Yeah.
God damn, why is this so confusing? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, like I work in a lab and.
Okay, I'm bored. I don't want to be here all night. All right. Well, this was a. Why can't we bully this dude? I don't encourage you guys to do anything because we're supposed to be above that. But you guys knock yourselves out. We'll see if we can host Young Don. See what wild shit he's up to. Ripperino, cappuccino, pappuccino, hoppuccino.
He sort of introduced me to his ideology and all of that, and part of that was the homophobia and trying to indoctrinate me into it. And one one way that he did it, it was like really subtle, but I didn't really think about it. Is do you know what boba tea is by chance?
Yeah, I think it's a T that has the large balls at the bottom.
Yeah, balls at the bottom, exactly. And so he was, in my mind, he was kind of trying to almost like turn me into like a sort of like, not to get into sort of red pill talking points, but like almost like a beta, where he was like giving me tons of sugar, because that's basically all boba tea is. It's just sugar. Like balls at the bottom. And after thinking about it, I realized that he was trying to indoctrinate me into like the sort of like pro idea of homophobia as like an ideology, instead of like trying to be like an actual friend and look out for me. And so I told him like, enough tea, like enough tea, like NFT, like what is an NFT? What is an NFT?
Real quick, can you guys stop trying to join the chat, because it's full and it keeps on popping up in notice. So if you guys can remove, stop trying to join. It's kind of like blocking my view.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Talk to me.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for a lot of the work that you do actually on here, because I used to be a Destiny fan, but I learned that it was actually kind of silly because that's actually a girl's name. So I don't know, it seemed really feminine of him to like do that type of stuff online. And I really think that a lot of the
But this guy has no idea. As soon as this guy said you can build an NFT from the command line, I don't think this guy has any idea what. I don't think he knows what. Oh shit! Wait, am I muted? Hello?
Is homophobia a real thing?
Oh, I don't know. Are you scared of me? It seems like you are, because you keep muting me.
Is homophobia a real thing?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Let's help you out real quick.
Yeah, help me, please.
So,
my technologist friend.
Yeah, right. So words have ideology, right? And this is clearly one such word, homophobia. Let's begin with the term homophobia.
Do you think Stardust is a threat to? Do you think Econoboy is a threat to Steven?
I mean, if they get into an argument and Destiny is losing on an economic argument, then yeah, he would be a threat to Steven.
Okay. My point is that the people you're talking about are not going through rapid growth and are not like I'm like a cancer inside DGG.
So what is the standard that we're talking about? Is it growth potential or rate of growth, or what?
I think it's both. It's both. I'm a malignant tumor. I'm a metastasizing malignant tumor. It's not just that I'm growing fast. It's that I'm growing in a way that contradicts his like ethics and what he is saying, and that I like. It wouldn't make sense to ban all Econoboy fans from your subreddit. Like, I like Econoboy, but
yeah, he's a chill dude.
He's a chill dude, exactly. But
he's an employee.
You don't hear it.
Some people are very upset today. Not just conservatives, but I got to tell you, right now, my man Nate Silver, 538 guy, probably not having a great day. Oh boy. You know, to me at least, the most shocking upset of the evening would probably be the fact that Bobert ended up losing, despite being given a 97-3. You know, but no. Bobert lost. This is from before the votes were actually completed, but no, she actually lost by a decent margin. So that's cool. It hasn't been called yet. Yeah, but like, is there any way? Hold on. When I checked like 3 hours ago, it was like there's no way, no shot it's over. That's what I thought. Yeah, okay, we'll check. Hold on. Bobert election. Any more votes been counted since this came out? It is 93% reporting, 1% in the lead for Adam Frisch, and she probably lost because of redistricting. Her previous district lines were deep red, now they're purple. Ah, the power. It's the huge one. The hugest one. This is District 3. It's so big. Oh my god, it's so big. Only votes left are in blue areas. Listen, let's just say that let's just say that Nate Silver has got some splaining to do, so he'll have fun with that, I assume. In reality, as all of you have probably seen, looking over social media, the red wave did not happen. It is not guaranteed, but reasonably likely that the Democrats will just barely hold on to the Senate. And while it's not, you know, likely, there's still a slim little margin of the Dems keeping the House. I don't expect that to happen, but the fact that it's not completely impossible is a fucking miracle. That's what I'm saying right here. I say 1% chance. 1% chance is a dream. The fact that there is even a 1% chance of Dems holding the House this far in, after all the shit we've seen, that's a goddamn miracle. I don't expect it to happen, though. I expect Red House, narrow blue Senate, which does deny the Republicans complete control over the legislature. How nice is that, huh? We have seen some fairly interesting trends. Obviously, Fetterman won. You know, we opened the stream with that, and he won by a good margin, too.
Yo, Steve, what is your favorite vegetable?
My favorite vegetable? I don't know, bro. It's tough. I love you, bro. What?
Yo, Steve, what is your favorite vegetable?
I'm not making fun of you because you can't afford to pay your girlfriend's rent. I don't know what it means when you say I need to raise money for safe housing. No, but you felt really comfortable asking me for money and telling me that she's black and she's trans. I did not make fun of your situation specifically. Have their solutions solved by asking me for money. So yeah, I have a problem with people like that.
Cherry, I am not too proud to go to the police.
Yeah, but that's what my tweet was about. So if it doesn't apply to you, stop being in your feelings. Yeah, and I almost rage quit that debate because you can't shut up. Yeah, you will apologize because you're the only person who asked me for money around that time. Okay?
Okay, yes, I am.
No, this is you apologizing for the chat and for the people that you want to follow you and trying to
you, Cherry. That, again, like, that's a failure on my part. Like, again, I can completely agree. Every person who's criticized me in that, like, you're 100% right. I was wrong. I was an asshole. I never should have said that. I'm not going to apologize because I just don't see a need to. And that's probably like a personal failing of mine because I am that kind of like vengeful person that I'm okay saying I did a bad thing to somebody because of how they treated me, and I don't feel remorse about it at all.
Interesting.
So,
could you? Some people are just wondering. Do you mind outlining what happened with Cherry? I broadly know, but there's been a couple people in chat asking.
Yeah. So I felt like she was going a little. She was being a bit off. I noticed this when she said that Merrick was going to be someone who like cried to get black men killed in the 1950s or something. There was a tweet about that, and I asked her. First I said publicly, I was like, "What's going on? Like, why are you doing this?" She also attacked me twice over. She attacked me over my manifesto. She said I was too nice to Anna. And she dragged me publicly. She was like, this guy came on and he had all this evidence and he still fucking was a baby and like completely like fell for her tears. I think anyone who watched that saw that I'd say relatively aggressive. But I feel like she wanted me to scream at her for like 3 hours, right? And that's not really my thing. I can be an aggressive guy, but that wasn't like the scope of that conversation for me. I wanted to like specifically ask like different questions. Mm-hmm. So we disagreed about that, and I messaged her privately about that. I'm like, hey, like, why are you fucking publicly dragging me for this? That feels like, one, completely unfair, mischaracterizing me, but also rude. I thought we were better friends than that. And then she did the stuff about Merrick, and then I responded to that. Also, I messaged her. I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? I talked to other people who I got some other messages from people that said, hey, Hans, be careful about this. Like, she seems like to be not doing so well right now. And I'm like, okay, because I know she had BPD, right? So again, this is an atrocious like asshole like thing on my part, right? So I message her. She tells me to fuck off because I'm saying, hey, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on, right? Tells me to fuck off. and then something happens again. I can't remember what the second part was. And then I ask her again, and then I go on a different tirade because this was about Destiny. This was right after the Buffalo shooting. I was really heated about that, and a lot of people were like adding Destiny about Lauren Southern and the Great Replacement, right? And so I was one of those people saying, dude, you say she's your friend, but she doesn't really seem to deny the Great Replacement stuff, and that directly inspired the shooting, and I really, really don't like that, right? And you probably shouldn't call someone like that your friend. And then and Cherry responded, she's like, oh, look at this fucking bitch baby, he's gonna like fucking attack, he's gonna like bitch about Destiny and then go online and cry about it and da 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 da. And I was like, it was pretty shitty. And eventually at that point I was mad. And there was this other thing about so I haven't said this on stream before. So I'm gonna message it to you privately. Just that she did another thing that like very much frustrated me, that I'm not comfortable saying, mostly for the privacy of someone that is important to me. So 1 second. Sorry about this. If you want to ask me a different question about something else, I can.
No, you're good.
That's fine. So that's like the basic trajectory of that. And so I was extremely angry at her even then, right? So we had like all the fights, like the disagreements leading up to that, like the criticisms, like the weird attacks, my personal like messages. And then between that, what I just sent you, and then like the last thing like about Destiny and her response, I was like, fuck it. Like, let's just go nuclear. Like, I think you're being fucking crazy. There's no justification for your behavior, in my opinion, because I feel like I've met her and known her like relatively like decently, except for like her bipolar disorder. So I told her to take her meds, right? Which is again completely rude, completely unacceptable from like for let's say like a mental health perspective. But I'd say I'm an emotional human in the same way. And if you come at me like that much, especially like about people I care about, then at some point I'm like, fuck it. Like I don't owe you anything. So yeah, I think that's like.
Clarify, BPD, you're meaning borderline personality disorder, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we're being accurate about that. Just because a lot of people think BPD means bipolar. Interesting. So there's a lot of drama.
Okay. So
why
not sure. Okay, so not sure. 1 second. Not Cherry's talking about shit in chat. So Cherry said I asked her for money. It's not because I'm a mess. So so my partner was struggling to find safe housing, and I tried talking to other streamers to like potentially host like a fundraiser for that. And Cherry just made a tweet about like how, oh gosh, like why can't you just afford to like help people? Or this is what I pay my taxes for, which is fine. You can be a dickhead about that, but you could just say you're not interested in helping. Like that's totally fine. I wasn't asking you for money. I was just like saying, hey, I'm organizing this thing, like maybe do like a thing to help find safe housing for this person that like is important to me, because I make good money, but I don't make enough money to pay for an apartment for them. Like myself, like while I live in a different city. That's just not possible for me. So that was really hard for me, and I'm sorry that like you wanted to like make fun of that, right? But I just find that really frustrating. So that's why I was mad.
Do you like, if Cherry wants to come on stream, do you two just want to talk instead of you guys talking through my chat? Because it's going to be difficult to have any level of like conversation.
Yeah, Cherry, I list all their minority statuses because, again, I'm trying to, like, they're a progressive person. I have progressive friends. I think more people would probably say, hey, they want to help Hans's partner if they knew that Hans's partner was a black trans person who's trying to find safe housing. So, yeah, I said that because I thought it would help people be more sympathetic to that plight. Because it is harder for, like, black trans people like to find safe housing if they don't have a safe place to go. So yeah, I'm sorry that I said that. Was that me being self-interested and trying to like make that fundraiser more successful? Absolutely. So like, again, I don't have the funds to do that. So that's like why I did that. And I message it in a certain way to try and make it more successful.
Sure, she'll have a voice.
Sure, she can talk if she wants.
We can.
I don't have a ton of time for this.
I know you've only got about 10 to 20 minutes. Do you guys want to go in my Discord server? That way I can like moderate it more. How you doing?
I mean, this is like frustrating for me. And I know this is going to be like a shouting match. So like I'm like if Cherry wants to say that, oh, we're not friends, that she thinks I'm being parasocial with her because I thought we were friends, right? That's why I reached out to her in the first place. I reached out to streamers who I had I figured a somewhat decent relationship with, right? I was like, hey guys, like, can you help me with this?
Sure. So probably since I'm in like the middle, I'm gonna do my best to be like neutral. All I ask is like if I ask one of you guys to just like chill for a second and pause, that you do. That's all I ask. And if you don't, then I'll just mute you super quick so we can like resettle and then keep talking. Does that sound good?
All right.
Otherwise, I'll be like pretty hands off. Unless you want me involved, I guess then you can ask me questions.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yes.
Yep. All right. So you're going to say that we were never friends, and that I'm super parasocial with you. And I'm going to say that I thought we were friends and I reached out to you for that reason, along with other streamers that I considered my friends. And we had a series of interactions leading up into that point where we both kept getting more heated, and eventually we blew up. And I called you. I said that you acted because you had bipolar. And to be clear, I made fun of you because I thought
borderline.
Borderline. Sorry. Okay, so I got that wrong. Thank you.
You get a lot wrong, but go on.
Okay, so I said that. I'm not sorry for that. I think you treated me pretty terribly. I think that was a pretty rude thing to do when you like made a post like making fun of me for like not being able to afford to like pay for an apartment for somebody that I can do pretty well for myself, but I can't afford right now with my current income to have 2 different apartments to support my partner and get them safe housing while they complete like their degree. Like I can't do that. So when I reached out to other people, I was like, hey, I can't do this. They're also searching for other ways like to get help, right? I tried doing it like the official channels. I was gonna like do like a generic GoFundMe. I talked to other streamers, like, you know, maybe do like one of those like, you know, 36-hour video game streams or something to try and raise money. And then like you threw it back in my face and you made fun of me. And now you're making fun of me now, which again, like you're right. I don't make like as much money as I wish I did, like to be able to support somebody like this.
You know that's not what I'm making fun of you for.
Okay, so you're making fun of me for which part?
Maybe we can just let Cherry respond.
Okay.
First of all, I don't know what you mean that like this has been piling up and we've been I don't know, feuding for a while. If you have been having bad feelings about me since like the tweet about Merrick, like that's on you. I didn't think about you during that. I'm not making fun of you because you can't afford to pay your girlfriend's rent. I don't know what it means when you say I need to raise money for safe housing. Like,
to get them
what does that mean?
To get them out of a place where they currently feel unsafe. There's no like other places that they can currently stay with any stability.
Okay. So when people don't feel safe, it's like, do you need to call the police? Do they need like a restraining order? Do you need like an RA at a college? Like, what does it mean that they need?
I don't feel comfortable sharing all of this with you like publicly.
No, but you felt really comfortable asking me for money and telling me that she's black and she's trans and then non-binary. Like,
it's they.
Do you understand how altogether this just seems so? I don't know.
Are you saying when I'm crafting a statement to talk to people online about like an issue or about helping a person, I'm not going to phrase it in a way that I think will like get a more positive response? And when I said, can I count on you for help, I'm not asking you for money. I'm asking, oh, hey, I'm going to do like a charity stream, because you didn't even get past that. You just didn't respond, right? Or what'd you say again? You're like, ah ha ha. Like,
yeah, after I laughed at you, then you said you don't even have to give money. I just need you to do a retweet or appear on stream.
Yeah, like that's literally.
Do you know how weird that is? Especially now knowing that you've had off feelings about me since Merrick. Like, what kind of person has like these weird feelings, but then they'll come right to you for money?
I didn't come to you
and be really manipulative about how they're asking you.
I literally said you don't have to give any money. I was just hoping for like a retweet, or if I was doing like a stream, that you'd like come on and say hi. Like, and again, if I'm feeling off about
but you don't even like me at this point.
I feel disgruntled.
You don't think that that's weird?
I feel disgruntled with you. I don't think we weren't friends at that point.
We're good enough friends for you to ask me for money or for fucking help.
You keep saying
and
money,
you won't even explain what safe housing means.
You keep saying money. Can you stop saying money? Because like that's not what I was asking you for.
No, because after I didn't give you or want to give you money, then you changed it.
I didn't.
So I'm going to stick with money.
Any other person, and I have several other people that responded. They said, "Oh, hey, what can I do?" And I responded with the same shit I told you. I didn't ask for money. I said, "Hey, I'm planning this right now. When I get things, all my ducks in a row, I'm looking for maybe like a retweet or for you to like help promote the stream or come on the stream." That's what I said to everybody, including the people who like said that they were going to help.
Well, I love that for them. I had a lot more questions, and maybe I'm a little bit more judgmental about people asking me for money or for my whatever internet presence I have so that they can get money to be able to, I don't know, put their long distance girlfriend in a better apartment. Because I still don't know what safe housing means.
It's in a place where they currently do not feel very safe, feel very well. They want to get out of this place, and they cannot currently afford to do so, and I cannot currently afford to do it myself. That's what that means. Does that make sense? And like, again, you didn't have to do that. But then I saw like the tweet about you making fun of me. Like, oh, why can't you just afford it? Because I can't, Cherry.
I didn't make fun of you and say you can't just afford it.
So can I just understand the full timeline? So Hans approached you, Cherry, asking about the housing and whatnot. Was the first message just about housing and support, or what was like the actual first message?
From there or from like Merrick? Because I don't know, he's just one of the people.
Just on the housing right now, just because there's a little bit of like we're jumping around. So I'm just trying to figure this situation out.
Let me just open my DMs.
I said, it's not official yet, but I'm planning on organizing a fundraiser for my partner, a Black trans non-binary person, to help find safe housing for them. Could I count on you for help? Question mark. And then you said, don't you have a place for her to stay? LOL. And then I said, no, they live in Boston. I live in Virginia. I'm trying to find housing for them until they finish school in Boston. I can't afford 2 apartments. I'm just asking if you'd be on a stream and give retweets.
Oh yeah, and then I never replied.
Yeah, you didn't.
Okay.
But you did make a tweet making fun of it. I remember that.
I did not make fun of your situation specifically. Okay,
it just happened to encompass everything I said to you, like, and it was like right after I asked you that. It was like within a day of those DMs.
Listen, if you think you're the first person in my life to have some weird ass fucking story to ask me for money, you think too highly of yourself. You're not the first person who's like, maybe you or someone else too proud to ask for food stamps, too proud to like go to the police to file a report for something, and they'd rather have their solutions solved by asking me for money. So yeah, I have a problem with people like that.
Cherry. I am not too proud to go to the police.
Yeah, but that's what my fucking tweet was about. So if it doesn't apply to you, stop being in your feelings.
Do we have a receipt of the tweet of what specifically was said?
Let me see if I can.
And I just want to say, because we're such close friends, the last time we even DM'd was back in November when I did my road trip. And then before that was when the Merrick tweet. You are actually fucking delusional.
No, you're actually lying. Remember, we did the duo debate together on the Crucible. We talked before and after.
Yeah, and I almost rage quit that debate because you can't shut up.
Well,
but then,
okay,
but then you just lied about the timeline.
You have to be in my DMs and apologize.
Hold on. Let's not get into like bringing other stuff of like how we don't like debates out. Hold on.
No, that's fine. But sorry.
Yeah, but on the tweet right now.
Okay.
Let's just go back to the tweet.
Okay, second, just making sure I have the timeline right for this. And so I was just specifically clarifying because Cherry said that we hadn't communicated since November, since her road trip, but that was incorrect, and I was just correcting that. And she immediately.
Someone said that this woman attacked Stardust too. I love Stardust. What's wrong with your chat?
And she immediately
I would almost never take anything from chat. I wouldn't.
So one second. I just want to make sure we're clear on this, right? So Cherry said we hadn't communicated since November until like I sent her that DM on Twitter, but we did a duo debate together.
Stop being Weasley. We did not coordinate that debate. BPF asked me if I would do a debate with you. We didn't even fucking line up what we were going to talk about. That's how much we don't fucking talk, Hans.
We did, but you're saying that we didn't DM. We did DM. We did a little bit.
Yeah, you had to DM to apologize to me for being a fucking belligerent dumb fuck on that channel.
Because I was talking over you and I was apologizing.
Because you were your same old aggro, hyper masculine fucking Hans. And I don't give you shit for that. But you give me shit for one fucking tweet to Merrick?
I said that I didn't think this was reasonable, and then I asked.
Yeah, you will apologize because you're a fucking bitch. I'm not sorry when I do it.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna just like chill again with the like insulting because we still don't have the tweet. I'm still trying to figure out what actually like happened.
Sorry, I'm looking at dates from the DMs so I can look for the tweet.
So,
right.
if I'm understanding correctly, Hans, it sounds like, was expecting more charitability, or like maybe better reading into his claims than Cherry gave him. Which isn't necessarily wrong of Cherry to do, but you mostly felt. Were you upset by how she reacted to your initial request, or was it the tweet that made you upset?
The initial request was, I would say, totally fine. Sorry, I'd say response is, oh, fuck, I don't want to help you, or why can't you do LOL? I'd say that's callous, but I wouldn't, like, be angry over that, per se. Because a lot of people just didn't respond.
Well, it would be fair, right? Like, he gets to feel the way he wants to feel, and you get to feel the way you want to feel. Like, you can be...
No, absolutely, but so long as he owns the fact that he's upset at something.
Yep.
I'm upset. I'm upset after the second part, not the first part. The first part was like, all right, fuck you. Like, there's more people that were willing to help me, and they were really nice. So, like, so I didn't need you for that.
Does the fuck you does feel like it implies at least like an irritation, but was there an irritation with her initial response?
I mean, I got a lot of people who either didn't respond or...
Can you just answer if there was an irritation or not?
It was irritating, but I wasn't like, I wouldn't say we can't be friends anymore.
Yeah, like it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, it wasn't the end of the world.
I think he's like owning the level of emotion. He was like, okay, like that was a little like yikesies, but like whatever.
It's pulling teeth getting him to own any fucking emotion.
That's fair, but I guess I'll probably just... It sounds like you were irritated, correct?
Yeah, I was irritated after that. I was much more irritated after the tweet.
But the tweet was what really set you off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you link the tweet too? Because I don't have it memorized.
Yeah, I'll send it to both of you. That way Hans doesn't have to.
It wasn't the deserve to own a house. Like, did you say there was another tweet, right? I'm like 90% sure there was one. Like 99% sure.
You said it means a lot to you, so
yeah.
Do you know the tweet that he's referring to, Cherry? Like off the top of your head?
I'm scrolling through now.
Okay.
Because I'm like super sure you made a tweet about like asking for money, and it wasn't so like there's one tweet I see like around like the time of the thing, and it's about not deserving to own a house. But I'm fairly certain there was another tweet specifically at like making fun of people who came at you asking for money. And like it's around that same time, and you seem like you knew that like what tweet I was talking about.
Potentially,
I absolutely know what tweet you're talking about.
Okay.
Like, you are not the only person who fucking asked me for money around that time.
Okay, but Cherry, could you get that tweet then? Because like I see the house one.
I
don't
said
see
I'm scrolling and I'm looking.
Okay, but you know that like the one that I'm referring to, right? So so if I saw that and I thought it was in recent like proximity to me asking you, I did feel personally attacked by that. I would say that yeah, that very much hurt me, and I was extremely angry at you. And then after during the Destiny thing,
I don't get you being angry at me for that.
I feel like you're making fun of me for like callously after saying like, oh, I'm not like why can't you just do it, Lamau, and then not responding. And then if I message you saying, hey, I need help with this like specific thing to help this person I care a lot about. And you say, why can't you just do it, LOL? And I'm like, if I could, do you think I wouldn't? Like, why would I be asking? Because like for me, I've never asked for this before, like ever. I've never like been in a situation like this. So I was extremely like touchy about it. And so when I saw a tweet where it seemed to match all the boxes for me, where it's like, don't bring your ass like asking money for me or something like that, then yeah, I thought you were talking directly about me or subtweeting directly about me. Because again, I don't know all of your life, right? Because we're not that close apparently, right? We're not close at all.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. We're not that close. I don't know how you are. Why would you think that I know that this is rare for you?
Let's try to like minimize any passive aggression and just talk about what happened and what you're feeling.
So then what I'm asking is like, Cherry, can you understand like why I'm so frustrated? Because I thought you were directly attacking me when like again I am like swallowing my pride as supposedly a young professional who's like very proud of the work I do and the money that I make, but I couldn't do this for someone I really cared about. I didn't have the funds for that.
Talk doctrine, profanity, and community caretaking, and is brought to us by Syra Hawkins' channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On May 10th, 2020, the Suisun City Police Department received a call from North Bay Medical Center about an individual who had potentially ingested nail polish remover. Officers Tiffany Kanoma and Cody Marler responded to the call and were dispatched to the Suisun City, California home of military veteran Sergeant Syra Hawkins.
your girlfriend or your baby mama? Lady right here.
First of all, that's my wife, Marble.
Okay.
Marble.
Okay.
And who? Who are y'all looking for?
102. Can you go with the mother's name?
What's the problem?
So we're here on a welfare check. We have to
So
make
hang
sure
on.
she's okay.
Why?
Because we received a call from North Bay for the incident that occurred earlier.
What incident?
What's your last name?
Copy.
Look right there. Supposed to be investigated. If y'all investigate. Right there. 9 years, U.S. Army. Now, what's the problem?
Okay. What's your first name?
I don't have to identify myself to you, do I? Am I under investigation? You want to
No.
tell me what's going on?
102. Can you
Don't
confirm the
knock on my
address?
window.
Can you come out here?
No, she can't come out there. Y'all need to tell me what's going on. This is my house.
We told you.
Copy. They're
We're here
advising
for a
that this
welfare
is
check.
not the right address.
A welfare check for what?
No,
Hi, ma'am.
I
What?
got it.
Ma'am?
Y'all violating my rights right now.
Actually, we're not, dude.
Yes, you are, because
No,
you're
we're
not
not.
telling me know who that is. I just said it to you.
Listen to me, dude. We're not violating your rights.
You are.
How?
Because
which right? Which civil right are we violating?
Why are you raising your
We're
voice?
not violating
Why is he raising
anything,
his voice?
okay?
Why is he raising
So
his voice?
we are here on
Are
a
you threatening
welfare
me?
check.
I can go inside my
We
house.
are here on a welfare check.
Sergeant Hawkins asserts that the police are violating his rights, although he does not explain how, and the officers argue that they are not violating any rights by standing on his porch. The area immediately surrounding an individual's home, including the front porch, is known as the curtilage, and Supreme Court precedent protects curtilage as part of the home itself for Fourth Amendment purposes. In the 2013 case of Florida versus Jardines, the Supreme Court noted that, quote, "But when it comes to the Fourth Amendment, the home is first among equals. At the amendment's very core stands the right of a man to retreat into his own home and there be free from unreasonable governmental intrusion. This right would be of little practical value if the state's agents could stand in a home's porch or side garden and trawl for evidence with impunity. The right to retreat would be significantly diminished if the police could enter a man's property to observe his repose from just outside the front window. Nonetheless, under the so-called knock and talk doctrine, officers generally have the authority to enter a home's curtilage to knock on the door and ask questions without a warrant. The court explained in the Jardines case that, quote, "The knocker on the front door is treated as an invitation or license to attempt an entry. This implicit license typically permits the visitor to approach the home by the front path, knock promptly, wait briefly to be received, and then, absent invitation to linger longer, leave. Thus, a police officer not armed with a warrant may approach a home and knock, precisely because that is no more than any private citizen might do. However, this doctrine does not authorize officers to bypass the warrant requirement of the Fourth Amendment to conduct searches or engage in activity that exceeds the scope of accepted social norms. As the court detailed in the Jardines case, quote, "To find a visitor knocking on the door is routine, even if sometimes unwelcome. To spot that same visitor exploring the front path with a metal detector or marching his bloodhound into the garden before saying hello and asking permission would inspire most of us to, well, call the police. The scope of a license is limited not only to a particular area, but also to a specific purpose. Applying this standard, lower courts have found certain police behaviors to exceed the scope of the implied license to knock at an individual's door without a warrant. For instance, in the 2022 case of Cupp versus Smith, the Northern District of California found that an officer exceeded the scope of the implied license to knock when he approached the garage area, entered the garage door, spoke with the homeowner's worker, walked through the carport, and took multiple photographs of the garage and surrounding area. Similarly, the Florida First District Court of Appeals held in the 2013 case of Powell versus State that an unconstitutional search occurred when police officers stepped off the front step of a mobile home and looked into a window they could not see through from the front step. The court explained that, quote, "Even when governmental agents are engaging in otherwise lawful knock and talks, they can exceed the scope of a reasonable visit to a front door or porch through physical actions that encroach into areas in which the resident has a reasonable expectation of privacy." But the decision also noted that, quote, "Under certain circumstances, implicit permission may exist to look through an uncurtained window while standing on a front porch momentarily to see whether the resident is approaching the door, assuming no unreasonable reasonable means or devices are used. In this situation, while a court would almost certainly conclude that the officers did not violate Sergeant Hawkins's rights by knocking on the door to ask questions, it is less clear how a court would view the officers walking over to look in and knock on the front window under the walk and talk doctrine. However, as we will discuss later in this episode, a court would likely determine that this was not a violation of Sergeant Hawkins's Fourth Amendment rights under the exigent circumstances doctrine.
Ready. I don't know what that means.
Stop talking. Let me talk.
I don't have
Over
to stop
a child
talking.
that
Freedom of speech,
ingested
right?
that ingested.
Why is he I don't like him.
A person
He's raising
that
his voice at me
ingested
right now.
or nail polish. Okay.
Okay, so
we come here. Your baby's
check
right
on
there.
Okay,
your wife.
I'm going to talk to you. First of all, you came to my house and said, "Is that my girlfriend or my baby mama?" That's my wife. So
Okay.
that's disrespectful starting off.
All right, sir. So
That was disrespectful starting off, and,
Okay,
and then
I
he's raising his
understand.
voice at me.
Okay, I understand.
So now I can raise my
So
voice,
look-
right?
No, you can eat it.
What's his problem?
Okay, okay.
Nah, I need your badge numbers. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll
I'm
give
sorry.
you my badge number. But so the reason we're here is to
Now
make
you're
sure
telling me the
somebody
reason
is
after you told me
okay.
to eat it.
Sir.
So you told me to eat it, right? Marler?
I messed up. I apologize.
Now that you on film, you messed up.
No,
so
you
you,
can
you
record.
haven't violated any of my rights.
No,
the
sir.
first thing you said to me coming here was,
So,
"Is
sir.
that my baby mama or my girlfriend?"
Sir,
Then he
so
started
we
raising his
recalled
voice
the
at
call
me.
from North Bay.
Pause. I need your name and your badge number.
Officer Conma 107.
Thank you. I need your name and your badge
Officer
number.
Marler 102.
And she's at my window. I told you not to go to my window. Close the blinds.
Do you have a 14-year-old son?
Close the blinds.
Hold on, sir.
Close the blinds.
Sir, do you have a 14-year-old son?
Close the blinds. Close the blinds. I'm not going in the house.
Are your
Close the
children
blinds.
okay, ma'am? Are your children okay?
Okay.
Do they look okay, guy? He's asking if my children are okay. Who the is that?
Okay.
What y'all talking about?
We're gonna leave now.
Give me
Why? Because I gotta eat. That's why you leaving now?
We're gonna leave now. I don't know who a 14
My family was here all day. We had a good day. You're here telling me to eat it.
It is. I don't know who the 14-year-old is.
Okay.
I don't either. I told you I did 9 years in the military.
Okay,
You told me to eat it. So thank
give
you
me a
for telling me to eat it.
Please.
After I served you
away.
for 9 years, you. How about
Marler.
you get the fuck off
I
my
served as
property?
well.
Marler.
I don't give. You were probably a piece. If you served and you telling people to eat, you probably was a piece.
All right.
You can get out of here. That's what you can do, Marler. You.
Okay. Let me explain because we may
He
have been.
said he told me to eat it.
Can I explain to you?
After Officer Marler directs a vulgar insult towards Sergeant Hawkins, Sergeant Hawkins becomes understandably enraged and begins to direct profanities back at Officer Marler. While Officer Marler's conduct was not criminal, his behavior was in clear violation of Suisun City Police Department policies. Policy 323, which details standards of conduct for officers in the department, lists discourteous, disrespectful, or discriminatory treatment of any member of the public, the use of obscene, indecent, profane, or derogatory language while on duty or in uniform, and any other conduct which any member knows or reasonably should know is unbecoming a member of this department or tends to reflect unfavorably upon this department or its members as potential causes for disciplinary action. It should also be noted that, as we have discussed many times on ATA, Sergeant Hawkins was well within his rights to express his displeasure with Officer Marler's conduct through the use of profanities and insults. And as the Supreme Court explained in the 1987 case of City of Houston versus Hill, quote, the First Amendment protects a significant amount of verbal criticism and challenge
For
directed
both
at
of
police
them.
officers.
Did you go to
Don't
North
do
Bay
it.
today?
What is that? Get in the house. What are y'all talking about? Nobody knows what y'all are talking about.
Well, you're not letting me explain.
You never explained. You started asking questions. He said, "Is that my girlfriend or my baby mama?"
Okay, I apologize for that. Okay, I'm here to clarify. So it may have been a miscommunication between North Bay and our dispatch. So we got a call that we needed. Okay, a 3-year-old was brought into the hospital because she ingested nail polish remover. Okay.
We don't know anything about
Okay.
any of that.
And that is absolutely fine. So this
I
just got a
know,
little out of hand.
But you don't come to somebody's house and say, "Is that your baby mama or your girlfriend?" You know
Right,
what?
and I completely understand
You're
that.
supposed to be
It was
professional.
I'm trying my best to be
And if
professional.
you're doing fine, but
Okay.
that guy, I don't know what side of the bed he woke up on.
Had
Put
been sent
yourself in
away.
my shoes. 2 cops knock on your door. Boom, boom, boom. I'm in there having a good time with my wife of 5 years,
They are
who I have now
Okay.
scared.
Okay.
You probably scared them. They don't know officer friendly yet. You knocking on my window.
All right.
You
After Officer Kanama asks Officer Marler to step away, she explains to Sergeant Hawkins that they were sent to his home on a welfare check regarding a potential medical emergency, and that they must have been dispatched to the wrong address. A welfare check occurs when the police respond to a call or other request to check on an individual's well-being or safety. Welfare checks are not criminal investigations, but they are related to police officers' so-called community caretaking function, which the Supreme Court defined in the 1976 case of Katie versus Dombrowski as police duties that are, quote, totally divorced from the detection, investigation, or acquisition of evidence relating to the violation of a criminal statute. Although the Katie decision involved a vehicle and did not apply to homes, after it was published, many lower courts interpreted the holding as creating a, quote-unquote, community caretaking exception to the warrant requirement that allowed officers to enter homes without a warrant for a non-investigatory purpose, such as to prevent a suicide or to conduct a welfare check on an older individual who's been out of contact. However, the Supreme Court clarified in the 2021 case of Caniglia versus Strom that there is no standalone community caretaking exception to the warrant requirement for homes, and that officers cannot enter a home or the surrounding curtilage while performing a community caretaking function unless an exception to the warrant requirement applies. Still, many warrantless entries that had previously been justified under the community caretaking doctrine could still be justified under the exigent circumstances doctrine, which, as Justice Kavanaugh explained in his concurring opinion, quote, allows officers to enter a home without a warrant in certain situations, including to fight a fire and investigate its cause, to prevent the imminent destruction of evidence, to engage in hot pursuit of a fleeing felon or prevent a suspect's escape, to address a threat to the safety of law enforcement officers or the general public, to render emergency assistance to an injured occupant, or to protect an occupant who is threatened with serious injury. Here, because the officers were responding to a call regarding a potential medical emergency, it is likely that a court would find that the exigent circumstances doctrine applied, and that the officers could look in the window or even enter the home if no one answered the door without violating the Fourth Amendment.
So
y'all want me to like quote what statute you guys are violating? I'm not one of those people, but I'm pretty sure I can go on Google and see.
We have every right to be here to check on somebody, and you have the right to Google us and make sure.
So you have the right to be here and check on somebody, right?
Yes.
Did I have to come out my door?
You did not. We needed to come check on the female. Okay, I'm leaving now, sir.
I gave you an instruction.
Okay. Have a good night, sir.
Shortly after Officer Kanoma left Sergeant Hawkins' home, Officer Marler returned, knocked on the door, and apologized for his prior behavior. However, Sergeant Hawkins was not appeased, and he posted the footage he recorded of the interaction on his YouTube channel. In response to public outcry, the department issued a public statement on May 13, 2020 that read, quote, over the weekend, one of our Suisun City police officers was involved in an unfortunate interaction with a resident while responding to a call for service. During that incident, the officer involved used language that was not appropriate and not within the standards of the Suisun City Police Department. The City of Suisun City and the Suisun City Police Department want to assure our residents that this type of behavior is not tolerated by any measure. The statement also quoted Chief Aaron Roth as saying, quote, this is an unfortunate incident that we will use as a learning opportunity to do better as we continue to work with our community to make Suisun City a better place for everyone. On behalf of the Suisun City Police Department, I would like to publicly apologize to the residents involved in this incident and to the entire community. As a result of the incident, Officer Marler was released from his position at the department, but it's unclear whether he was terminated or if he was allowed to resign. Overall, Officer Marler gets an F for making disrespectful assumptions about Sergeant Hawkins' relationship with his wife, using profane and vulgar language towards a citizen, and displaying a complete lack of professionalism throughout the encounter. While Officer Marler did eventually apologize, his conduct completely derailed the interaction from the beginning and prevented the mistaken address from being quickly identified. Instead of working to locate the correct address for the individual who may have ingested nail polish remover, the officers were required to spend valuable time resolving Sergeant Hawkins' well-warranted complaints. In situations involving medical emergencies, this sort of delay could be fatal, and it easily could have been avoided here if Officer Marler had simply behaved professionally. Officer Kanoma gets a B, because although there is certainly room for improvement in the way she and Officer Marler initiated this interaction, she maintained a professional demeanor throughout the interaction, attempted to de-escalate the situation, and remained calm while both Officer Marler and Sergeant Hawkins lost their tempers. That being said, it certainly would have been helpful if Officer Kanoma had explained the reason they were knocking as soon as Sergeant Hawkins opened the door, instead of immediately interrogating him, which made him defensive from the start. I hope that Officer Kanoma learns from this encounter and improves her questioning techniques for future welfare checks and other similar situations. Sergeant Hawkins also gets a B, because while his angry response to Officer Marler's conduct escalated the situation and delayed the resolution of the interaction, his outrage was completely understandable, and his expressions of anger were protected by the First Amendment. As Sergeant Hawkins pointed out, he was not the one wearing a uniform, and I cannot fault him for making a stand against rude and insulting conduct from a police officer. This interaction illustrates the essential role officers play in setting the tone of an encounter, and had Officer Marler not made disrespectful statements from the beginning of the interaction, it likely would have been resolved quickly and without incident. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.
Others were imprisoned, that was one of the reasons why you saw like the ongoing feedback loop in crime.
Yeah, people can't afford to bail themselves out, and it just compounds their problems and makes things worse and worse, and it doesn't solve anything. And we shouldn't be punishing people because they don't have money when it comes to things like that. So
yeah, cash bail in the United States is wild to me. I don't know why we have that. It seems kind of weird.
Yeah, but they're pointing to it. They're abusing it right now. You know, like and you know, the other funny thing is in New York State, they have Lee Zeldin, the Republican, trying to take out Kathy Hochul, the Democrat, and he's running on crime. So if crime isn't the governor's responsibility, why are they hell-bent and focused on that in New York State, trying to win the race there on it? They're just running ads of people getting punched in the face on the subway all day long out there. But that's what they're gonna fight you on, is progressive policies are causing all these problems.
I do think that some of the progressive DAs in a couple states, I know what happened in California, in northern, I think it might have been the San Francisco DA, the idea of that like not prosecuting like certain dollar amounts for crimes was probably a bad idea. And I think a lot of them got like kicked out and were very electorally unpopular. And it got a lot of Democrat people running who were talking about like being tougher on crime too. So, and then that's just...
Hey, FYI, looking at this link here, I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask here, but looking at that link I sent you, the abstract in it, and I'm just doing like a control F for CIT for cities in general, just to see what it says about cities versus states. But the lead paragraph in the abstract says, but despite a media narrative to the contrary, this is a problem that afflicts Republican cities and states as much or more than Democratic bastions. So I'm sure there's something in this super long article that will that provide you ammunition. When you talk to whoever, you said that somebody triggered the fuck out of you today. What were some of the things that they said about Trump? Because I'm sure those will also be talking points that
I just say Trump attacking the electoral integrity of the country is one of my biggest triggers.
Yep. Well, that erodes trust in government, period. Then people don't heed warnings to get out of the way of a hurricane, and like what happened in Florida, people just sit in their homes and they get killed, you know? And so it's dangerous for a lot of reasons to not trust government.
Yeah. It's just, it's absolutely, and he still did it. I think last night I listened to him give another speech where he's still doing it. He's still crying about the stolen election.
Well, every political commentator, like professional or otherwise, has commented that's part of the reason why they wanted Trump to kind of take a peripheral role during this election cycle, because they were worried he was going to spend more time litigating 2020, and, you know, instead of like focusing on hitting Biden for, you know, the perceived Biden weakness.
Yeah.
The thing about the institutions, though, that kind of pisses me off is that it seems like the Trump stands will argue out of both sides of their mouth on this. They'll say, on the one hand, we revere the founding fathers and, you know, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and this framework that they set up. And on the one hand, they've like fully embraced, or at least tolerate, the GOP becoming a cult in service to a man who is the antithesis of everything the founding fathers stood for. Like people talk about like originalism and appealing to what were the founding fathers thinking. Like, does anyone seriously think that George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, all those people would have been like, hey, this dude loses the election, both in terms of the popular vote and the electoral college vote. Should he be able to pressure his vice president into just saying, no, I'm going to stick around? They would all say the, you know, 18th century equivalent of fuck no. You know, like that's the thing that kind of confuses me. Like, there's no expectation of consistency for Trump stands. And I wonder what happens if and when you point that out. Like, how can you simultaneously revere the founding fathers?
You can't, because they'll just say like, oh, well, I don't really support Trump 100%. I know that he has a lot of problems, but I just like his message. Like, they always retreat to some like fucking cucky bullshit like that. They are so cucked and tepid in their defense of Trump that like when they're in closed doors, they've got the knee pads out and they're fucking filleting the fuck out of him. But as soon as they go into any public platform where they're going to get any pushback, like, oh, well, you know, I don't 100% stand by everything Trump says, and yeah, a lot of it is kind of crazy, lol. But they act totally different when they're on their own social media. It's so fucking.
So they'll dissemble then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they'll just say like, oh yeah, no, I don't fully support Trump, but I just don't like a lot of things Biden's doing, or I want like Trump's administration or whatever the bullshit that fucking means. Half of them are in fucking jail now. But yeah.
There was a CNN or MSNBC interview a couple of weeks ago, and somebody was like following up on, you know, the big lie and, you know, where Trump supporters feel about it now since the January 6th committee was dying down. And the interviewer asked so many good questions, but the obvious one, I mean, it may not be obvious. I may be completely wrong about this, but to me, intellectually, it seems like this is the big gotcha. Like, okay, you ask all these questions, they either don't seem to care about it, or they support it, or they're indifferent to it, whatever. But then you ask him, okay, picture this. It's January 2013. Barack Obama lost his re-election bid. Mitt Romney won. And instead of conceding the election, he proclaimed without evidence that it was stolen, blah, blah, blah. And he tried to pressure then Vice President Joe Biden into not certifying the votes. What would you have done then in that hypothetical?
You can't. I don't think you can ask it, because they'll always say that like, well, no, it's different because Trump actually has evidence. Like, that's what they'll say. They always, even though the judiciary has rebuked him at every turn, even though his own elected or his own appointed officials like Barr and the FBI rebuked him at every turn, even though all the, like every single person, you have to keep in mind, and you guys come wrong, I'm pretty sure every single part of the U.S. institution, his nominated people or otherwise, rebuked him on that. Pence did. I don't think anybody else, I don't think he had a single member supporting him. So if that's the case, like what, then they're lost. Like, what am I supposed to say to him? Like there's no foundation. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, they did it under oath too, especially
under oath,
William
yes.
Barr. He said under oath.
That was my favorite shit about Giuliani. He had a lot of shit to say before he went under oath, motherfucker. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck. God.
Well, yeah, I think you pointed that out, that it's different when, you know, there's like the threat of perjury involved.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, when you're actually held accountable.
Right.
Rosenthal, I think was his name. He said it best when Jim Jordan was asking him, well, what about reports in the media about people doing this and that? And his response was, listen, if you want to talk to them, bring them up here and put them under oath. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Why would you make a motherfucker under oath try to answer for people that aren't otherwise? That's bullshit. And yeah, and the refusal of a lot of these guys to go under oath to answer any questions, while Trump himself has said shit on the trail like, well, even if you're under investigation by the FBI, that in and of itself is a huge red flag. Like, fuck you, dude. Oh God, it's so crazy. How many hours was Hillary under oath for the Benghazi shit?
Like 16.
How many depositions did she do for the email shit? Right? Like, how many has Trump gone under oath a single time for anything relating to his accusations or any? Like it's the double standard is unbelievable. Do you understand? It's unbelievable. It's like two separate realities.
IRI, well, didn't he like resist the subpoena? Like, didn't they issue a subpoena and he just like gave them the finger, and then they gave them the January 6th committee gave him an extension? I thought they issued a subpoena to Trump at the very end.
Yeah, I don't remember they did or not, but could you imagine if the documents thing had happened at Obama's fucking personal house? What just happened with the FBI fucking raided and seized shit from Trump? Can you imagine? Like, I could ask that for a million things for Trump. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Obama, a black man in the United States, had like 2 ex-fucking wives and was paying off porn stars to fuck them behind his wife's back? Like, could you imagine if he imported a wife from fucking Eastern Europe and married her and was running around? Could you imagine if his fucking son-in-law, Obama's son-in-law, all these people were nominated and put in the White House? Like, it would, it would be unbelievable, right? All of this would be, any one of these things would be unbelievable. But Trump did all of it. Like, people accuse like Hillary Clinton, all these people of like having their families in bed with the government because like Chelsea Clinton makes a speech or does some dumb shit, and it's, oh, sorry, I'm done. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, they're just getting started. Watch, when the GOP takes over the House, which I think they probably will. It's a slim chance we hold on to it, but when they take over, from day one, it's going to be Hunter Biden's laptop. Yeah. There's a whole chain of custody on that. Who knows how that happened? Remember,
it's going to be the new Hillary emails.
Laptop. Yeah, that's going to be the next 2 years. It's going to be Hunter Biden's laptop. Who knows how they got that laptop, if it's even really his. The FBI's had it since the summer Trump was still in office.
To be clear, I think the FBI has confirmed that it is his laptop, right?
Well, yeah, but it's like he dropped it off at a laptop repair store. And
I'm sorry, did they only confirm that some of the stuff on it was his, right? They never I don't think there's ever been like a forensic audit which says like literally everything that's allegedly on the hard drive is his.
Well, we don't know the stuff that gets leaked to the New York Post. You know, who knows what the hell any of that is. But the point of the point of the matter is the FBI's had the laptop since the summer of 2020 when Trump was still in office. And the only thing they're going to end up charging Hunter with, if they do, is not paying some taxes, which he has since paid, and lying on a form to buy a gun about his past drug use out of embarrassment. That's the worst they got on him. But they're going to spend the next 2 years trying to show that he's some criminal mastermind that has businesses around the world and is just milking everybody with the Biden crime family. But you know, it is what it is. Get ready.
Well, and a couple of things to point out too, Destiny, like to keep in your back pocket if this comes up on the Hunter Biden thing. Number one, obviously you don't give a shit about Hunter Biden, so it should be easy for you to go like, look, dude committed a crime, bring charges if he's, you know, if the case can be made to.
Well, hold on, wait, which crime?
Whatever. Like,
well, no, it can't be whatever, because their alleged crimes for Hunter Biden is that he was working with like Joe Biden to like destabilize.
Well, that's what I'm
like,
saying. Whatever he's guilty of, whatever law enforcement can bring a credible case against, right? Which the law enforcement, the FBI is still under the control of the executive branch, which is still under Biden. So it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be the GOP directing that. I'm saying in terms of like bringing formal charges. You probably feel the same way. I'm sure IRI does that, you know, whatever. If they can make a case against him, charge him.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
The charges are, you know, the evidence is there, convict him, whatever. But the thing that I find interesting is that the other remarkable thing about President Biden in this situation is, like IRI said, Hunter Biden's been investigated twice. And both those investigations, again, correct me if I'm wrong, IRI, they didn't conclude before Biden was inaugurated. So he allowed those investigations into his own son to continue, which I would argue is a superhuman act of integrity in this political climate, and certainly compared to the last guy. He could have fired the U.S. attorney that Trump appointed, I can't remember, what was the year, 2018, something like that, IRI, where there was like that initial, I'm blanking on the guy's name, but it was like out of New York or out of Delaware, something like that, where... Anyway, Biden could have fired him when he was inaugurated. He didn't. He allowed a Trump-appointed official to continue investigating his son in this divisive political climate. So that's something else I think you could point out. Be like, hey, do you think Trump would ever allow that to happen?
The guy that was fucking firing anybody he fucking could that he felt was... Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. I'm going to look on that hard drive thing.
Yeah, but they're going to make up all sorts of stuff, Destiny, that they're Hunter Biden's involved in, and so Joe Biden in as well. You know, they're going to say that he's trying to hook up the big guy, meaning Joe Biden, but there's no evidence of this. And like I said, they've had the laptop since the summer of 2020. Like, why have they not charged him yet? It's been years, you know what I mean? Taking a long time to build that case.
Oh, I'm sorry, all right. It just says here real quick that PolitiFact wrote in June 2021 that it's possible the copies of a laptop were obtained instead of Hunter Biden's actual laptop. The New York Times and Washington Post reported that their sources had authenticated a number of emails, including one that was the subject of the New York Post reporting. No more than 22,000 of the almost 130,000 emails on the hard drive were confirmed as authentic in 2022 by 2 forensic analysts who independently examined the data for the Washington Post. However, the analysts could not verify the vast majority of the data. So, I mean, obviously there's clearly shit on there that does belong to him, but pun intended, the jury's still out as to whether or not that hard drive is fully his.
Sure.
Listen, everything I've seen from that laptop just makes me like Hunter Biden even more. Seems like a base Chad who parties with strippers and does drugs. Like, problem?
Dude, I've not seen the photos. Wasn't that a thing that got your ass in trouble, Destiny? As somebody like flashed some photos of Hunter Biden on something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cringe they did that, but yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I've not had the pleasure.
The Durham. I think you're talking about Special Counsel Durham. Is that what you're talking about, Ruminate?
Maybe that's it. That sounds familiar. He's a U.S. attorney, right?
Well, that was the special prosecutor that Trump assigned to look into the origin of the FBI's investigation to his campaign and ties to Russia, and they found nothing basically as well.
Okay, then that's a different one. I'm thinking of something else then. Yeah, and that turned out to be a giant nothing burger.
Yep.
Durham thing. Let me look here. I'm telling you. Investigations. U.S. attorney.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what other talking points are going to come up with these brainworm geniuses tonight that we could fill you in on. What about like as far as midterms go? Or is there anything you feel that you'd like to know more about with the midterms, like any races or chances of the Dems taking this or that? Because it's going to be a few days. You're gonna be going on there in the middle of the red mirage when they think they've won and stop the count. You know what I mean?
You think there's gonna be a lot of mail-in voting here, like there was last time?
Yeah, more people are using it nowadays. A lot more people engaged in early voting, and a lot more people are
but is it going to be as dramatic as it was on presidential night?
What's that? You cut out a little bit.
Is it going to be as dramatic as it was on presidential election night in 2020? Damn, Brandon said at least 50 million. Holy shit. Is that true? That sounds insane.
50 million what?
Mail-in ballots?
Maybe. I mean, like 40 million people voted early and mailed in ballots and such too. So.
Okay. I'm sorry. Real quick, again, before I forget, it was a U.S. attorney named David Weiss that Trump appointed, and even though Biden could have fired him when he was inaugurated, the investigation or the probe into Hunter Biden was allowed to continue on his watch. And
Gotcha.
I provided the screenshot and the link for you.
Cool.
Well, yeah, and Biden kept Christopher Wray on, who was the FBI director that replaced James Comey after he wasn't deemed loyal enough to Donald Trump. So I think Biden has done a lot to show that he is nonpartisan when it comes to the DOJ and trying to let them do their thing.
It's never enough.
When you two argue with Trumpers on the sheer number of people in Trump's orbit who have either called him an idiot or what is their
it's always like rationale? Deep state cope. It's always like, oh, these people were turned by the deep state or by the Mossad Jews or by whatever. There's always cope.
Okay. Damn.
Unless you've heard any good, I don't know. Can you Barr is one of the fiercest Trump defenders coming up, and even Barr just rebuked almost everything that Trump said about election fraud, about the voting machines.
Yes.
Who I don't know how a Trumple can possibly defend the fact that almost every single person in Trump's close circle has either betrayed him or turned their back on him, or Trump has turned their back on them. You tell me, what Republican talking points have you heard?
No, I mean, it's usually like the equivalent of, jangling your car keys, or they'll say, they're rhinos, obviously, or, they couldn't control him.